WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM. This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank, and it's time now for another one of our interview segments, which is presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Halloween can be scary enough with the ghosts and goblins flying around and the tricks and treats, as well as haunted houses going on, but this year it's become a bit of a more of a concern because of the coronavirus crisis. So we're going to find out now how to have a happy and healthy Halloween in this time of coronavirus. Joining us right now is a board-certified internist who served on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic treating patients at some of the hardest-hit hospitals in New York City, Dr. Sunitha Posina. And Dr. Posina, thank you very much for joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's talk about some of the things that we should keep in mind. Obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic affects a wide variety of age groups, as we've learned over the past few weeks. So, and children are just as apt to collect this illness just about as much as anybody else. So in an event like Halloween and trick-or-treating and things like that, where people are known to congregate together, what are some of the safest things that people can do?
Well, the first and foremost important thing is to really see what's the current community situation in your own community. If the infection rate is really high in it, it may be advisable to cancel your event or postpone it or have a virtual event. Otherwise, the other important thing is to really assess your risk if you want to participate in it. If you're 65 or older, or you have family members who are 65 or older, you may or may not want to, or if you have comorbid conditions that put you at high risk, you may or may not want to participate. That's really up to you. But if you do decide to participate in it, like a number of options are available. One of the things being, you can always do it virtually. Masks are non-negotiable. Absolutely wear a mask that covers your nose and mouth for sure. And really teaching how kids to trick or treat in a different way. That's very different from every year, as you mentioned, not grouped together for sure. And the second thing is to make sure that they don't eat candy along the way. Mm-hmm. And also there's an interesting idea now to really not just maintain 6 feet apart, but they have these things called candy shoots, or you could basically, it's like, we were just talking about it earlier, it's like having a lacrosse for your trick-or-treating where you put a stick out and have like a basket at the other end.
Oh, okay.
So that's a great way to really keep distance and still be protected at the same time.
I actually was considering the candy chute idea, putting it on the railing of the stairs and just sliding the treats down to our young trick-or-treaters who are going out. Yeah. So you had mentioned a lot of things, but let's talk about Halloween costumes. Now, as tradition holds, many costumes do have some sort of mask to them, but not all of those masks are safe. What are some of the things that people should probably keep in mind when it comes to picking out a costume that would not only be creepy, but keep them safe as well?
Well, this year, given the current situation, it's probably best to plan out a costume where a costume mask is not involved, or to use a Halloween-themed cloth mask instead. Because a lot of times the costume mask, the masks that come with the costumes, they're not a great substitute for the actual safe face masks that are used to protect from coronavirus. Mm-hmm. So the best thing, and you don't want to over-mask yourself where you wear a costume and another cloth mask, because that could be dangerous too and a little hard to breathe for the kids. Okay. So the best thing is either to use a Halloween-themed cloth mask or wear a costume mask that wear a costume that doesn't involve a costume mask.
Okay.
Instead, use a separate mask, yeah.
Now, I've heard many people along the way, and I've been one of those people when I put together Halloween costumes, try to do it yourself as much as you can. Is it safe to decorate a cloth mask or a mask that is suitable for preventing the spread of COVID-19?
Absolutely. That's a great way. You can make it any color. You can, as long as you're not punching holes in it or doing extravagant things, you can paint it, you can color it and wear it, just to make it more Halloween themed, yes.
All right, so let's talk about what parents should keep in mind if they're going to be out on the porch or they're going to be waiting by the door. From what I've always assumed with touching things, that maybe things should be wiped down every 5-10 minutes or something like that if kids are touching doorbells or something along those lines? Or should parents maybe just kind of greet them at the door with the door open, ready to help them out?
The best thing, it's not, it's difficult to, wipe down every 5 to 10 minutes. The best thing is probably, to do a non-contact trick-or-treating. Mm-hmm. If somebody's coming to your house, it may be advisable to use like a scooper to serve the candy or thongs to serve the candy instead of directly using hands. And, and avoid touching the front doorknob, because when you open it from the inside and you still maintain a distance. That's probably the best way. And, if you do have the energy, you should wipe down the doorbells for sure for the kids. If that is, if there's frequent contact with that, yes, for sure.
Okay, so making sure that frequently contacted areas are safe. Maybe going to a contactless version by using the candy shooter, as you said, the lacrosse, the basket on a stick method. I like that, the basket on a stick method. That is actually pretty ingenious. But now you mentioned also that kids should not be eating their snacks on the way home. Now, we kind of know that parents should check the snacks on the way home. So should their parents be on the lookout for anything that, even now in coronavirus times, they should be kind of even more eagle-eyed than ever?
Absolutely. Non-wrapped candy, even before, is never a great idea. But people must only accept individually wrapped candy and throw out anything that's not. And one of the important things is, kids, they get very excited. So to make sure, the parents should really make sure that the kids do not eat candy on the way. And once they come home, they wash their hands and they wipe down everything and then properly eat the candy and not on the way. That's very important.
That's a good thing to keep in mind, too, to have the kids washing their hands. Maybe the parents, when they're accompanying their children trick-or-treating, should have some hand sanitizer just in case.
Absolutely. They should carry hand sanitizer. If possible, ask the kids to wear gloves, not touch their face during this whole process of, when they're trick-or-treating until they wash their hands again. It's very important, and it's hard with the kids because, they're young and they want to have fun. They forget these things, Yeah,
and of course, that brings to mind, going back to the mask issue, there's going to be probably 1 or 2 kids out there who don't want to wear the face mask because this isn't going to work with my costume, So you kind of have to encourage them, hey, this is part of being safe, or maybe integrate the mask into the costume in some way.
Absolutely. And, another great idea is this year healthcare workers have played a great role. Maybe they could be a doctor, a nurse, or a hospital,
staff
member.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, I should say, Doctor, thank you very much for everything you did to help out the city of New York and some of those hard-hit hospitals, because we know that you and other medical experts don't get a lot of the thanks that I think you so rightly deserve. So thank you very much for doing all that. And thank you for being with us this morning here on Indiana in the Morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
You do the same. Dr. Sunitha Posina from New York City. She was a board-certified internist who served on the front lines of COVID-19 treating patients at some of the hardest-hit hospitals in New York City. We thank her for joining us on Indiana in the Morning. And our show, as always, is presented by First Commonwealth Bank, and the interview has been presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people.